Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Jina Fisabila Haywina. Why evaluation materials? Evaluation is a matter of judging the fitness of something of the particular purpose, give a third tenet, and in the light of the result case, a variable which of us a number positive variables can represent the best solution. Evaluation is concerned with relative merit. How do you evaluate materials? Evaluation basically a matching process. Matching to acceptable solution. If the matching is to be done as objectively as possible, it is best to look at the net and solution separately. In the final analysis will be made on subjective growth.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nislia Nur Aini and I'm from group 8. So in this presentation I will explain about how do you evaluate materials. So evaluation is basically a matching process. Matching needs to available solution. If this matching is to be done as objectively as possible, it is best to look at the needs and the solution separately. In the final analysis, any choice will be made on subjective grounds. It depends on what you consider to be important. The danger is that if subjective factors are allowed to influence judgment too soon, it may blind you to possibly useful alternatives. Similarly, you might reject a particular textbook because you don't like the cover, the picture on the cover, or because you dislike a functional syllabus. An ESP textbook has to suit the needs of number of parties, teachers, students, sponsors. So it is important that the subjective factors which will ultimately play a part should not be allowed to obscure our objectivity in the early stage of analysis. So there is 4 major steps of material evaluation process. The first is defining criteria. Define criteria on what basis will you judge materials. Which criteria will be more important. So the second, subjective analysis. What realization of the criteria do you want in your course? And the third, objective analysis. How does the material being evaluated realize the criteria? And the fourth, or the last, matching. How far does the material match your needs? And most of the work of first 2 stage will have been done in the course design stage. It will be useful, however, to set out your criteria and your own preferred realization of the criteria in a form which will make it easy to compare different sets of materials. It is also very important to have some kind of rank order of factors. It is almost certain that there will be a conflict. One textbook might match your criteria in terms of content and language area, but another might have a more appropriate methodology. So we can now present our own checklist of criteria for objective and subjective analysis. That's it. The material presentation from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning. My name is Widya Garini. I'm from class 4A ESP, and today I will talk about material evaluations, chapter subjective analysis and objective analysis. First, subjective analysis. Analisis subjektif. Analisis subjektif ini dimaksudkan untuk menganalisis bahan material dari mata pelajaran kita. Apakah material tersebut sudah memenuhi persyaratan yang telah ditentukan? Analysis of your course in the terms of material requirement. Yang kedua, objective analysis. Analysis of materials being evaluated. Analisis objektif ini bermaksud untuk mengevaluasi apakah bahan material dari mata pelajaran kita ini sudah bisa digunakan dan sudah siap digunakan untuk learners kita atau pembelajar kita. Next. Audience atau learners atau pembelajar. Who are your learners? Who is the material intended for? The first is who are your learners. Ini bermaksud artinya kepada siapa tujuan ESP ini ditujukan. Siapa sih pembelajar kita? Kita harus bisa menentukan siapa orang-orang yang akan kita tujukan sebagai target pembelajaran kita. Yang kedua, who is the material intended for? Ini artinya kepada siapa materi pembelajaran yang kita tujukan. Kita harus bisa menunjukkan apa sih material dari ESP ini dan bagaimana siapa target dari material ESP yang telah kita tujukan ini. Contohnya yang pertama ada age atau kelompok umur. Kita harus bisa memilih dan menentukan kepada siapa ESP ini ditujukan. Apakah kelompok umur puluhan, 20-an, atau 30-an mungkin. Kita harus bisa menargetkan itu sebelum pembelajaran dimulai agar bisa tercapainya tujuan dari pembelajaran ESP. Yang kedua ada seks atau gender. Kita juga harus bisa menentukan dan memilih kepada siapa kelompok manusia ini yang kita tujukan. Apakah kelompok laki-laki atau kelompok perempuan, atau kelompok campuran laki-laki dan perempuan dalam rentang jumlah yang sama, atau lebih laki-laki atau kurang perempuan. Kita harus bisa menentukan dan bisa memilih agar terciptanya tujuan dari English for Specific Purpose ini. Yang ketiga ada nationality or kewarganegaraan. Kita harus bisa memilih juga kepada siapa orang dengan warga negara apa, apakah itu warga negara tertentu seperti Indonesia atau warga negara tertentu yang di Eropa seperti Italia, Prancis atau yang lainnya. Yang keempat ada study or work specialism. Example banking or medicine or etc. Ini bermaksud kepada siapa sih ESP ini ditujukan, apakah kepada mahasiswa yang mengambil jurusan kesehatan seperti kedokteran, keperawatan, atau work specialism seperti orang-orang yang bekerja di dunia teknik industri atau orang-orang yang bekerja di dunia bisnis, ekonomi. Kita harus bisa menunjukkan tujuan dari ESP kepada siapa sih orang-orang yang kita pilih sebagai tujuan atau target dari pembelajaran ESP kita. Yang kelima ada status atau role with respect to specialism. Ini sama kepada siapa orang-orang yang kita tuju. seperti apakah dia punya jabatan yang sudah dikualifikasi atau jabatan yang tinggi dengan pengetahuan yang luas, intelektual yang tinggi, atau orang-orang yang masih awam, atau seperti orang-orang pelatihan, mahasiswa pelatihan atau siswa pelatihan. Kita harus bisa menunjukkan dan menentukan kepada siapa ISP ini bekerja. Selanjutnya ada knowledge of English, specialism, or other. Sekali lagi, kita harus bisa memilih dan menentukan specialism atau kepada siapa orang-orang ini yang kita pilih sebagai target ISP kita. Apakah kepada orang-orang yang pengetahuan Inggrisnya luas, atau kepada orang-orang yang memiliki pengetahuan tentang dunia yang lebih luas. Selanjutnya ada educational backgrounds atau latar belakang pendidikan. Kita juga bisa memilih dan menentukan kepada siapa ISP ini ditujukan dan siapa target kita. Sebagai berikut, educational background, apakah orang-orang yang memiliki latar belakang pendidikan 12 tahun belajar atau hanya sebatas SD SMP. Kita juga bisa memilih orang-orang tersebut sebagai target pembelajaran ISP kita. Dan yang terakhir ada interest atau minat. Sekali lagi, kita harus bisa memilih dan menentukan orang-orang dalam minat di bidang apa agar sebagai tujuan atau target pembelajaran ISP kita, ataukah dia memiliki minat di bidang kesehatan, memiliki minat di bidang olahraga, atau di bidang kecantikan, kesehatan. Kita harus bisa memilih dan menentukan jenis-jenis orang yang telah kita sebutkan tadi ke dalam target pembelajaran English for specific purpose kita. Selanjutnya ada aims atau tujuan. Who are the aims of your course? What are the aims of the materials? Yang pertama, what are the aims of your course? Apa sih tujuan dari pembelajaran ISP kita ini? Kita harus bisa, sebelum proses pembelajaran itu dimulai, kita harus bisa menentukan tujuan dari pembelajaran ISP kita. Apakah sebagai agar pembelajar kita atau target learners kita memiliki pengetahuan bahasa Inggris yang tinggi, atau mereka memiliki intelektual bahasa Inggris yang tinggi. Kita harus bisa memiliki tujuan dalam penyampaian target pembelajaran ISP kita. Yang kedua ada what are the aims of the materials. Sekali lagi, kita harus bisa menentukan tujuan dari apa sih tujuan dari kita menyampaikan materi tersebut. Contohnya, kita menyampaikan materi tentang English for specific purpose bagian need analysis. Kita harus bisa menentukan tujuan dari penyampaian materi tersebut. Apakah kita ingin learners atau target pembelajaran kita menjadi mengerti dengan menganalisis bahasa Inggris? Apakah kita ingin mereka mengerti bagaimana bahasa Inggris bisa menganalisis suatu teks atau kalimat? Kita harus bisa memiliki tujuan tersebut agar target pembelajaran kita atau learners kita memiliki kemampuan dari apa yang telah kita sampaikan, dan supaya ISP atau English for Specific Purpose yang kita sampaikan, yang kita memiliki tujuan yang telah kita sampaikan, dan bagaimana ISP kita sudah bekerja, dan bagaimana English for Specific Purpose telah berhasil menjalankan tugasnya dan menjalankan tujuannya kepada learners atau target pembelajaran kita. Sekian dari saya, Widya Garini. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Windy Melia Putri. Now I will explain about content. There are two kinds of content: subjective analysis and objective analysis. And at the first, I will explain about subjective analysis. There are 10 points of subjective analysis. Number 1, what kind of language description do you require? Number 2, what language point should be conferred? What proportion of work on each macro skill is desired? What micro skill do you need? what text type should be included, what subject matter is required, what type of topic do you need, what level of knowledge is some, how should the contents be organized throughout a course, how should the contents be organized within a course unit, how should the contents be sequenced throughout course, how should the contents be sequenced within a unit. In the second, I will explain about objective analysis. There are 10 points of objective analysis. What types of linguistic description used in the material? What language point convert in the material? What is the proportion of work on each skill? What the micro skill convert the material? What types of text in the material? What subject matter sum the level of knowledge and the text and the types of topic in the material? And then how is the content organized throughout the course? How is the content organized within the unit? How is the content sequence throughout the material? And how is the content sequence within a unit? I think it's enough from me. I apologize for my mistake, and the next material will be explained by Ninduk Wihartami.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ninduk Wihartami, and I will discuss about methodology in materials evaluations. So, in evaluating, we need analytical methodology based on the criteria of subjective and objective analysis. So, let's we discuss together. In the subjective analysis, point in A, it evaluates about what theories of learning should the course be based on. Should it be based on behaviorist, cognitive, affective, and some other kind of combination, one or more of this? But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what theories of learning are the material based on. So in the objective analysis, it emphasizes about the materials. And the next, in the subjective analysis, point 14a, it evaluates about what of the learner's attitudes to or expectation about learning English the course take into account. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what of the learner's attitudes to or expectation are the materials based on. So in the subjective analysis, it emphasizes about the aspect of the learner. But in the objective analysis, it emphasizes about the materials. In the point 15, subject analysis evaluates about what kinds of exercise or tasks are needed. For example, it practice language or skill and use the language or skill. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what kinds of exercise or tasks are included in the materials. In the point 16, subjective analysis, it evaluates about what teaching learning techniques are to be used. For the example, are students' presentations and small group work. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what teaching learning techniques can be used with the materials. In the point 17 subjective analysis, it evaluates about what aids are available for use. For the example, wall charts or video. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what aids do the materials require. In the point 18, subjective analysis evaluate about what guidance or support for teaching the course will be needed. For the example, is it list of vocabulary and language skill point, or is it language guidance? But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what guidance do the material provide. In the point 19, subjective analysis evaluates about how flexible do the materials need to be. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about in what ways are the materials flexible. For the example, can they be begun at different points? Or can the units be used in different order? In the point 20, subjective analysis evaluate about what price range is necessary, but in the objective analysis, it evaluates about what is the price. In the point 21, subjective analysis evaluate about when and in what quantities should the materials be available. But in the objective analysis, it evaluates about when and how readily can the materials be obtained. From this process, teacher will be easier to know how far the materials match the needs.
My name is Khairun Isabdillah and I will discuss about steps should be followed in using the checklist and conclusion in this chapter. By possibly reviewing existing material that can provide all or parts of your material needs. The following steps should be followed in using the checklist. A material or as input to the later stage of material evaluation. Answer the equation first. To identify your requirement, you can then use this information either as a basis for writing your own. Second, analyze the material you have selected by answering the B question. If possible, test your ideas by teaching extracts from the material. Third, compare the A and B findings. This can be done impressively or by awarding points. 0. If doesn't meet the desired feature. 1. Partly match the desired feature. 2. If closely match the desired feature. Total the points and analyze the research. Note that the highest number of points does not necessarily indicate the most suitable materials. The point may be concentrated in one area. Look for the desired feature and concentration in the areas you consider most important. And fourth, make your choice and use your finding to prepare any documentation needed for defining your decision. In conclusion, in this chapter we have looked at material evaluation as one way of exploiting course design. Even if you eventually decide to write your own material, the evaluation of existing materials can provide a good source of ideas or of what to avoid as well as what to do and technique. It can also save a lot of duplication of effort by possibly reviewing existing material that can provide all or parts of your material needs. The evaluation process should be systematic and is best seen as matching. As such, matching your analysis needs with available solutions.